of Outside the Ropes with myself, Matthew Moore, my co-host, partner in crime, Mr. Man Who Never Smiles, Mr. Thinks He Knows It All, Mr. Tommy McNulty. Right, Tommy? We're trying to squeeze everything into tonight's show because we've got a very tight schedule tonight because we've got a lot to talk about. Anything else this week in wrestling sort of stood out for you this week at all?
SmackDown.
Well, SmackDown, yeah. Leading into the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view.
Rock made an appearance on SmackDown. Very rare appearance.
Well, he's been on SmackDown a couple of times recently now. He cut a promo on CM Punk this week.
About CM Punk stealing the WWE title from him. So he was doing the whole. He's going to whoop CM Punk's ass, boots to asses, so on and so forth.
Hashtag.
Yep. And he was interrupted by the resident genius wannabe.
I love that guy. Mr. Sandow.
Damien Sandow.
Love that guy. Especially when he was on the JB on Cole show the other week. Check that out, by the way, on YouTube, the JB on Cole show.
Yep.
Gotta love it. Yeah, he pretty much done the whole spine buster, people's elbow, same old Rock, pretty much.
And Tenzai is still teaming with Brodus Clay, I see as well.
Yeah. It's
making a fool of himself.
Don't understand.
Getting paid for it. So
well, that is true. Going on to the start of SmackDown, Big Show came out and done a promo, interrupted by Y2J.
Chris Jericho.
He brought up the whole thing in the promo, saying they were tag team champions, etc., etc. Yeah. Out comes Booker T, the 5-time WCW champion, 6-time world champion, and makes the match between Big Show and Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
So
to open the show.
Yeah. Anything else in SmackDown this week stood out for you? Not particularly,
no.
Not particularly, because SmackDown was kind of like that sort of show that eases you into Sunday's show.
Yeah.
But we'll move on now to
because people were complaining about that we don't talk about this, don't talk about that. We only have an hour on Bangor Community Radio, so we have to squeeze things in.
Definitely.
So,
we also have to play tracks in the radio. We also have to go to commercial. Exactly. We have to promote the station. We have to do everything else. So, as you said at the start of the show,
chill out or leave.
We'll be doing other videos as well, eventually down the line, where we'll be talking about other segments too, because we're still trying to take it. We had Outside the Ropes in a different venue last week. We're going to be trying to take it out elsewhere because the weather's starting to change, and we're trying to do one at Belfast Titanic Quarter.
And spring's in the air.
Due to weather commitments and obviously beyond our control, we couldn't do that, but we will be doing it pretty soon. We're going to be taking Outside the Ropes to other venues as well. We're still talking to a few local businesses as well. To try and bring it to local areas around Bangor where the show is filmed, and try and do it there. But at the end of the day, we're trying to squeeze everything into one show, and we'll stop blabbering on here because they'll probably criticise what we're saying now.
Yeah.
So anyway, moving on. Last night's pay-per-view,
Elimination
Chamber. Where do we start? Opening contest,
which was the World Heavyweight Title match.
No
World
surprise.
Heavyweight Championship is the opening match again.
No surprise.
Same as WrestleMania.
And it probably will be this WrestleMania this year as well, which we're now 48 days away from WrestleMania now.
Yep, correct.
In New Jersey at the MetLife Stadium. Last night's pay-per-view was from New Orleans, which we hear.
There's going to be a big announcement.
Yep, from WWE
today.
Sometime today. We don't know when. We don't know what time it was. We didn't manage to catch it what time. So if we didn't manage to get it, we'll announce it in next week's show.
Yep.
WWE have made a big announcement.
Apparently it's going to be regarding WrestleMania.
For what we hear, it's going to be WrestleMania next year in New Orleans, where we will be next year.
Yep. Outside the Ropes will be on the road to New Orleans.
We will be there. Opening contest for the world title, Del Rio and the Big Show. Wasn't a bad match, was it? It was.
No.
It was okay.
I think their match at the Royal Rumble was
better.
Yeah,
I agree with that one. Not that we ever agree on very much, but no. Wasn't a bad match.
It was pretty good.
I was quite impressed.
Yeah, which really made me laugh.
The botch.
Alberto Del Rio's botch, where he slipped on the ropes, and he had to do it again, kick the bucket into Big Show's head.
Yeah,
it was pretty funny.
And the crowd was dead.
Yeah.
We had tweets about the old where the crowds used to be in the past. If that had been 10 years ago, 15 years ago, the crowd would have went absolutely bucked off mad, and the whole "you effed up" chanting. It was just like whatever, But it wasn't a bad match, Del Rio retained the title. Moving on to the Elimination Chamber match.
Yep.
Which was quite surprising.
Jack Swagger
with new entrance music, by the way.
Yeah, really creepy entrance music. What did he say? What he sounded like?
Go on.
You teeing at me for. Jack Swagger, Randy Orton, Kane, Daniel Bryan, Mark Henry, and
Oh yeah,
Randy Orton.
the Viper, Randy Orton. Wasn't a bad chamber match, I must add. It was quite good. Everybody was expecting Jericho to come out on top in that one.
Yeah, it was a pretty big surprise of who did come out on top, for me anyway.
I called it.
Yep.
I called it. And in fact, I made a wager out of it. I know I shouldn't be, but I made a wager out of it last night. I just thought I'd take a wee...
Illegal betting.
Illegal betting, I don't think so. I picked Jack Swagger to win it. So I did, and the person who we watched it with, along with this clampet sitting beside me here,
Another clampet.
called different people like Jericho, maybe Mark Henry.
I didn't call Mark Henry.
I kept my cards close to my chest, and I called Jack Swagger. And I was right.
And of course, Zeb Coulter came out with him, cut a pretty good promo
At the start, yep, definitely. They're doing this whole real American thing at the minute.
Yep.
No pun intended to Hulk Hogan.
He talked about like illegal immigration and stuff like that. So it sets up perfectly because yes, Jack Swagger won the Elimination Chamber match, and he will go on to face Alberto Del Rio or whomever is the world champion at WrestleMania.
No, but I won't be surprised if there was a title change before then.
Of course, Zeb Coulter, as I said, was talking about illegal immigration, so this is going to be the real American against the Mexican aristocrat. So,
who's going to win? We want to hear your thoughts. Will it be Alberto Del Rio or with your twin brother, Ricardo Rodriguez?
I do not look like Ricardo Rodriguez.
You do.
Will you give up on this?
Nope. Will you stop calling me Bully from Bullseye then?
Fine. I'll call you Paul Bear instead.
Who do you think will win the title match between Del Rio and Jack Swagger? I would like to see Swagger win it.
Yeah.
You know, because he's paid his dues. There was a lot of rumours going around that he was in a lot of trouble backstage whenever he was originally the world champion.
When he first won the world title, he was apparently very egotistical backstage.
That's why they took the title off him quite quickly. And now apparently he's paid his dues. He's went away and he's rebranded himself and come back with a new look with the beard and the longer hair.
He looks in a lot better shape.
I think he looks quite good. JR thinks, well, JR signed him, and JR thinks very, very highly of him.
He's from Oklahoma.
And he's an amateur wrestler again. Done that the Olympic style wrestling as well. But so we were talking about earlier about the Olympics. The wrestling is now not being considered as an Olympic sport. We want to hear from you folks on our Twitter page at Outside the Rope and also on our Facebook page Outside the Ropes. What do you think? In fact, we'll create a poll and put it on our website about that because it's quite a touchy subject for a lot of people who watch Olympic style wrestling. So yeah, Swagger wins the chamber, going on to a match that I seriously, and we even tweeted throughout the pay-per-view about this. You know, out comes Dolph Ziggler, who wasn't even on the card. Why? He's the Money in the Bank winner. Out he comes with Mr. T and AJ Lee, or whatever.
Mr. T.
Yeah.
Is that Big E Langston?
Yeah, it is indeed. Yeah. Out they come, and
it looks more to me like Ahmed Johnson in Taz's old swimsuit.
But before he changed the colour, he looked an Nation Domination member.
Yeah, he looked like a Nation Domination member.
Yep. But this is the thing that baffles me about him before we go on here. In NXT, he's the NXT champion, and he's a face. But when he's on with Ziggler, he's a heel, and he's... WWE baffles me nowadays, really does.
But anyway, Dolph Ziggler was in a match with Kofi Kingston.
Yeah, because he was cutting the promo out, comes Booker T again, and makes a match with Kofi Kingston.
How much you betting that was because The Rock didn't want to go too long in his match?
We did get tweets about that actually last night. Yeah, we did get tweets about that last night saying the extra match because The Rock doesn't want to wrestle that long. So, but out comes Kofi Kingston, and it was a pretty quick match, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Pretty much pointless.
And then the crowd was completely dead because Big E Langston came back into the ring, did a beat down on Kofi. No crowd reaction whatsoever.
Why, oh why, oh why, oh why, oh why? These crowds today are really frustrating me. There are certain towns you go to.
But that part was boring.
We talked about it before in our podcast before we come on to YouTube and before we come on to Bangor Community Radio, that crowds nowadays, well, even Robbie Render tweeted in saying about it, are mostly aimed at children now. And the crowds are all full of children. And the crowds are like... It's like a graveyard. It's completely flat out. There's some towns you go to, like Chicago, New York, places like that where it's a reasonably hot crowd.
Old school wrestling.
Yeah, definitely. But there's places you go to, like, I don't know, Louisville, Kentucky. No pun intended. People who are watching Louisville, Kentucky on YouTube or whatever. There's places you go to, and the crowd are just completely flat dead, unless it's Super Cena. You know, and it's just, I mean, we talked about this before we go to commercial break for the final part. Years ago, even the guys who opened the show, the crowd, big pops, like bigger than Cena pops now.
People like Too Cool used to get like Cena pops.
I watched Insurrection from 2000 last week, right? And it was the opening match, which was I think it was a 6-man tag. I think it was a 6-man tag where it was a 6-man tag where Rikishi and Too Cool. I think it was the Radicals that fought, for what I remember, watching that event. And as soon as their music hit, there was like 16,000, 17,000 in the London Docklands Arena, and the whole place just went absolutely ballistic.
And look at LOD. They used to call it the Road Warrior Pop, because as soon as you heard the "Oh, what a rush," the crowd went crazy.
But anyway, back to the E. Langston thing. He beat up Kofi Kingston. Maybe a match down the road. I don't know. But the crowd was flat dead, and it was just like, whatever.
The next match was...
Well, we'll talk a bit more about it because we'll have to go to a break.
Oh, okay.
We've just been told we'll have to go to a break again. Lovely producer people we'll have here in the studio. But what we'll do is we'll go on our commercial break here, and we'll be back in a few moments' time here for more Outside the Ropes on Bangor Community Radio and also on YouTube and Daily Motion with myself, Matthew Moore, and my co-host, Mr. Tommy McNulty. Hi there, welcome back to the final part of this week's Outside the Ropes here on YouTube, Daily Motion,
Bangor Community Radio
as well, 107.9 FM. Before we go on, just a quick shout out again once again, if you want to check us out on our website, which is outsidetheropes.tk. Also on Facebook, Outside the Ropes, and in brackets, Wrestling Talk Show. On Twitter, at Outside the Rope, no S in the end, just Outside the Rope. And on Bangor Community Radio, just search Bangor Community Radio on Facebook, and on Twitter, Bangor 107.9 FM. Also on Tout, just search Outside the Ropes, we're on Tout as well.
And on Daily Motion.
Yep, and our email address, which is outsidetheropes at yahoo.com. That's us. Going on, now, we'll switch the matches around. We'll talk about the Divas match, because even though the Divas match is before the last match, but we'll talk about that first. Going on to the next Divas match, Caitlyn versus Tamina Snuka. I actually thought Tamina was going to get the title. So, but clearly WWE is now going with Caitlyn.
Caitlyn seems to be their new Kelly Kelly. That's not a knock on Caitlyn, because Caitlyn is a lot more talented than Kelly Kelly, of course.
I knew you'd get a pop in about that, because I was talking. I actually met a fan on the street the other day, and they were saying that you didn't like Kelly Kelly.
Despise her.
Actually, it's not that bad. Anyway, going on. WWE must be pushing Caitlyn now to be the new next diva, even though they've got Natty Neidhart and all there.
Yep. They've stuck Natty Neidhart with the Great Khali. First they had her farting backstage, and now she's with the Great Khali. Go figure.
I know. So anyway, Tamina Snuka, I thought was going to win the title last night. She didn't.
She performed the Superfly Splash.
Missed it.
Of course, missed it. And
Tamina capitalised and then went and retained the title. People keep calling the Divas matches nowadays the toilet break matches. Is there any? Do you think the Divas division has been sort of? It's been. What's the word I'm looking for? Do you think it's sort of been affected with recent people leaving? Like, well, we'll call her Awesome Kong. Karma. We've lost Beth Phoenix. We've lost Kelly Kelly. We've lost Eve Torres. You know, well, apart from Kelly Kelly, you always say, but those 3 out of those 4 are great workers.
Other than the Royal Rumble, did Karma even have a match?
I think she did. As far as I'm not honestly sure, because I really don't
remember. But in my opinion, the Divas division, forget Divas division, the women's division has not been great since women like Jazz and Trish Stratus, Molly Holly, Jacqueline.
Would you even say Lita?
Lita, yeah.
Lita was a pretty good worker, yeah, definitely. And Lita, even back in was back in the day when I started watching wrestling, you had like Sherry and Moolah
was on her way out.
Yeah, you know.
And Wendy Richter, Hall of Famer.
Definitely had all those girls, but
Luna.
Definitely. Do you think TNA have a better women's division now?
Yeah, but apparently Bruce Pritchard doesn't like women's wrestling, so he's not showcasing the knockouts at the moment.
I mean, they've lost a lot this year. They've lost the Bellas, they've lost Beth Phoenix, they've lost Karma, they've lost Kelly Kelly, they've lost Eve Torres. You know, there's a lot of divas that have left. Eve Torres, I thought, was a great worker.
I thought,
my own personal opinion.
Remember Maurice?
Maurice
I
gone,
she was improving a lot.
She was away. She's away too now as well.
Michelle McCool.
Another good worker. I mean, there's not very many left. I think the best one to have now, in my opinion, on the roster is Natalya. But anyway, going on to the 6-man tag, which we were informed that it was going to be inside Elimination Chamber.
I thought it was inside Elimination Chamber.
I mean, I heard I was reading online, I was reading different things as well, and heard that it was supposed to be a 6-man tag team Elimination Chamber match, but it wasn't. It was a normal 6-man tag.
Because normally we would get 2 Elimination Chamber matches.
Yeah, we didn't. So, but the Shield versus Super Cena, Sheamus, our boy Sheamus, as we call him, our Irish fellow friend. Hello, Sheamus, and you're probably not watching like or listening, but we'll just still say hello anyway. Doing Ireland proud, by the way.
Yep.
As a whole country, not just Northern Ireland, the whole of Ireland is proud. And also your friend, Ryback. Ryberg. Goldback, whatever you want to call him. Does Ryberg remind you of Goldberg and RVD attire? Give us a tweet. Anyway, 6-man tag match wasn't bad. It was an average 6-man tag team match, back and forward.
It did shock me that the Shield
won.
Yeah.
Really? I don't think so. I
thought
I did say the Shield win, but
because Cena is going into WrestleMania as the #1 contender, I assumed that he would have rallied back and then. Of course.
No, I think the Shield's going to be around for quite a bit. I think they may actually, my opinion, I think they'll last a bit longer what the Nexus did.
That's what I thought they were going to do with the Shield, completely destroy them like they did
Super Cena did, yeah, because Cena was in the Nexus and then all of a sudden he destroyed them, and it was sort of nonsense. But I was glad to see it, and you were saying yourself during the pay-per-view, the one that stands out the most for you in the group.
Seth Rollins.
Yeah, Seth Rollins.
With Tyler Black and Ring of Honor.
Young CM Punk there, do you see?
Yeah.
The big man, Roman Reigns. Do you think he'll go far?
Vince has always loved the Samoans.
The big Samoan guys? Yeah. Maybe he will. We don't know.
Yokozuna was great. Of course, Roman Reigns is the son of Afa, who was the manager of the Head Shrinkers. He was one half of the tag team champions with the Wild Samoan Sika. So there's been a great history of the Samoans in the WWF, WWE.
So the Shield come out on top. Ryback left the ring quite disappointed. He seemed quite upset about it. Whether it was playing a character, I don't know. But
playing a character, I could see maybe Ryback turning heel or something like that.
No.
And possibly going after Cena.
He's too over the kids.
He seemed to storm away from Cena and just storm out of the ring.
I don't know.
Could happen.
Moving on then finally to the main event. Should we call it the main event?
Do we really have to move on to that?
We have CM Punk versus The Rock for the WWE title. Now there was a stipulation in this match, which we forgot to mention as we smacked ourselves in the wrist during the commercial break, that it was made on Raw, that if The Rock got counted out or got disqualified, he would lose the title, which we do apologise about because we were trying to squeeze everything into tonight's show. Remember, we only got an hour on Bangor Community Radio, which we had to play music. But anyway, match itself wasn't bad. Rock sweating bullets slipped early on.
Yeah, and there was a lot of rest holds, so the Rock could take a break. And CM Punk was outside the ring quite a bit, so Rock could take a break.
He did take a bump on the table, though, which the table didn't break.
Yeah.
So he did, which was kind of knocked the wind out of the Rock, should we say? But it was an okay match. It wasn't bad. It pretty much ended where Heyman tried to get involved. A couple of times actually tried to get involved. The ref got knocked out, which I did call.
Yeah,
I did say
got knocked out, and then the referee John Cone twisted his ankle, ended up on the outside.
Yep. And then it eventually got to the end where Rock hit him with the rock bottom. He kicked out of the rock bottom actually, and he kicked out of the people's elbow too.
Correct.
And then he finally hit him again with a finisher, and he got the win. So now it's going to be, and then as soon as the match was over, our little friend Michael Cole was straight on going, so don't forget, folks, WrestleMania, it's going to be The Rock versus John Cena. Not even a whole,
twice in life.
Not even a whole, once in a lifetime too, or once again. It's just like announced it, and that was it. It's like, are they really wanting to build up this year's WrestleMania, or
could have been a rematch from last year's WrestleMania? Will Cena finally be able to do it? Will he defeat The Rock?
Which he probably will do.
Of course he will.
Super Cena. So, and I reckon it'll probably happen. The Rock will probably shake his hand.
And then go back to Hollywood.
Or the next week, or next night, on Raw, he'll go and shake his hand on Raw, and he'll depart. Because his new movie's due out, G.I. Joe, which was advertised throughout the pay-per-view. No surprise. Do you think he's using WWE to platform his movies?
I don't see why he would want to use WWE to platform his movies, because he can platform them quite easily without WWE. Then again, if he comes back to WWE and does it, he'll get a lot more WWE fans wanting to go watch his movies. So.
Do you think? We were talking about this 2 weeks ago. I think it was. We were saying about the Rock being WWE champion. Good or bad?
Bad.
Not good for ratings.
Half and half. Good for ratings and good for publicising WWE. Bad for some of those young guys in the back that have been busting their asses to make it as big as they're getting.
Like Tyson Kidd, which I saw on Tout the other day with his knee injury, and saw him in the gym busting his ass. Not in saying out there, The Rock did put photographs of himself working out in the gym up on Twitter, and The Rock just looks like. Do you want to comment on The Rock's physique?
ROID?
You think so? I don't know.
The Roid.
I don't know. Your opinions are your own.
My opinions are my own.
Exactly.
Just hope Rock doesn't kick my ass as well.
There you are. So we're now 48
I
days.
get it. The Roid, Roidy my via.
Beautiful.
Brilliant.
But now we're 48 days away from WrestleMania. Not long to go before we wrap up tonight's show here. Do you think WrestleMania is going to be as good as what they're expecting it to be, or do you think it's going to be like an average WrestleMania? Because so far we've got Jack Swagger against Alberto Del Rio, The Rock versus Cena. You know, who's Punk going to face? We've heard all these rumours for the last year. It might have been Steve. Steve keeps denying it. I wouldn't think so.
They would have started building it up by now.
Brock Lesnar, Triple H, maybe.
Again, they would have started building it by now.
It's 5 weeks to go, so I mean, I don't see the reason why they shouldn't start doing it now. Because I mean, he hurt Vince, so now obviously Triple H is going to throw off the suit and try and defend his family, maybe. But
Brock Lesnar hurt Vince. Talking about Punk.
That's what I'm talking about. But was it Brock Lesnar versus?
No, but I was saying about Punk. Who will Punk wrestle?
Oh, who will Punk wrestle? I would love to see Punk and Austin, but it'll probably never happen. Never happen. But
if Undertaker happens to return in
that's
week.
it. Maybe the Undertaker versus CM Punk. You know, the best of the world versus the Streak. You know, you never know. But with WWE, it's hard to call now, isn't it? With those writers they have nowadays.
And then you were saying that apparently Chris Jericho was going to face Chris.
Yeah, Chris Jericho was supposed to turn heel. So I've been reading, and so I've heard from different sources. They to turn heel and fight.
Which I don't want, because I want him to remain as Y2J.
Because he is getting over. He is getting over. But what do you think, folks, of this year's WrestleMania? You know, any matches you would like to see, or anything you'd like to hear, or not hear? Sorry, anything you'd like to see, or you know, on the card. Anybody like to see return, or anybody the Hall of Fame as well. You know, it could be another induction tonight. We don't know.
No, could be
Hall of Fame induction as well. You know,
Demolition, hopefully tag team.
Doctor style Slick, I want to see in the Hall of Fame. Or as you said the other week, a list of crazy ones you talked about the other week, like One Man Gang,
Gobbledygooker, TL Hopper, Boston Booger.
Unreal. And by the way, you're still getting tweets about the Frank the Dog incident with Vicky Guerrero before we close.
Am I?
Do you want to address that again? No? Or is your subject closed?
Subject closed. Vicky, in my opinion, you still look like Frank the Dog, but
for Men in Black.
Subject's closed.
Anyway, I'll wrap us up for tonight. As I say, we do apologise. We're trying to squeeze everything in tonight's show, and I'm starting to talk really fast too as well. Do apologise. Don't forget to tune in next week on Bangor Community Radio 107.9 FM. Also, this show will be on Android and iTunes as well if you've missed it. So if you want to listen to the audio of it, or if you can't get a chance to watch the video here on YouTube or Dailymotion, you can stick it onto your iPhone or your Android device as well, or your iPad or any or Apple device that you have, or your laptop or whatever you want to do. Closing, don't forget to check out our website, which is at the bottom of the screen, www.outsidetheropes.tk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Please, we want more subscribers.
Yes, of course.
Follow us on Twitter at Outside the Rope.
Like us on Facebook.
Yep, Outside the Ropes.
Buy our merchandise and woo. Oh, wrong person, sorry.
Copyright infringement. Anyway, and also don't forget to check out our beautiful friends here at Bangor Community Radio on Facebook, Bangor Community Radio, and also on Twitter at Bangor 107.9 FM. We'll be back here next week on Bangor Community Radio, same time, same place, 10 p.m. UK time. Also here on YouTube, Dailymotion, Facebook, Bebo, Tumblr,
MySpace.
For everybody who got in touch with us this week, thank you very much. We'll see you right here next week for more Outside the Ropes from myself, Matthew Moore, and my gonna do your rant, you always do.
Host with the most, Mr. Fantastic. Borrow, of course, again from superstar Billy Graham, the man of the arm, man with power, too sweet to be sour, so on and so forth.
Are you finished?
Future WWE commentator.
Anyway, we'll We'll see you next week, folks. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for listening in tonight to Outside.